Hey, welcome back to my first video, actually, ever. I totally didn't upload anything when I was around 11 that I deleted out of pure embarrassment. Anyway, I have a story for you. Yesterday, I got a notification. I'm just messing around. The notification I got was from Punkred, a moderator on the Lego Vault server. Now what did Punkred have to say to everyone on a fucking Wednesday at 1 AM? Well, let me tell you. A Stronghold event was being held by Punkred themselves, and I, of course, was invited. As far as everyone else who wanted to be part of it, I guess. But they did it for me. I did not participate in the last building event that Punkred held. And no, I'm totally not saddened by the fact that I couldn't participate. Not at all. So I, of course, claimed myself a spot. A spot where I could let out my wildest imagination and let the creativity run wild. However, that was not as easy as I thought it was. Because you see, just going ahead and starting a build is not as easy as it may seem. I usually tend to start with an idea that I can work out from, and when I don't have any ideas, shit like this starts to, get ahead of itself, and to be quite fair, I don't really know what to do with it. So, I decided to make this into a video for this pure reason that I'm going to teach you guys how to actually make a build that you will start to love. It's gonna take some time, but trust me, you will get it eventually. Eventually. It took me 11 years. I hate my life. This was not my first idea, so to say, and that is mildly put. I usually take inspiration from Pinterest when it comes to building ideas, but I don't really want to just straight up copy stuff, which is why this one is over here in the shame corner. Now this design is amazing. I really love this half moon bridge design that somebody on Pinterest made. I can't remember who it was, and I decided to straight up just steal it and recolor it into a nice grey undertone. However, that doesn't really work with the current build that we're trying to do, because you see, the whole stronghold in itself that we are going to be building is not a big build. So incorporating a big bridge with like a large, oval size in it is just not going to work. However, I soon noticed that this area is not a lot to work with. So, I spiced things up a bit. I decided to put it out here, and I decided to make some ideas to what I could be building. So, once again, I decided to go onto Pinterest to try and figure out some more ideas for this lovely, lovely build. And what I came across was this picture right here of a very mystical stronghold-like amethyst geode forest thing. I was captivated. It was love at first sight. I just needed to incorporate it somehow. However, I wanted to do my own spin on it, so I wanted it to be an open world. It was not in a close, captivated space like that behind us. I wanted it to be out in the wild, out in the free, and then make something around it. And you'll probably see soon what I got in mind. So I made 6 of these pillars, almost identical. The 2 in the middle are a little longer than the other ones, but that is to, insinuate that this is the main point of attraction. So that's at least what I got in my head. And so the other ones are just here to, act as a little decoration for the walkways, where you will go from one warp portal over to the end portal, and then hopefully if you don't want to, jump into the end portal, you can just go back through here and go out of another warp portal that will lead you right back to spawn. So that's my idea. Now you can see that there's also some diorite here, which looks a little bit weird, not gonna lie. And for now it's just used for me to, kind of get an idea of where I want to go with this. Another inspiration I actually gotten is from 2B2T, and I'm going to show you a picture right now.
Oh, yep. This is what I'm talking about. It's this space right here.
Now, as you can see, those giant portals that the entire base comes out of are very, very, very cool. I really love them, and the fact that they were done in survival on an anarchist server is insane. Now, I really want to draw inspiration from that, since this is a stronghold kinda end-themed build. I kinda want to, you know, pay some respects to this absolute chat of a legend who built that. And so I really want to make some portals behind here as to, you know, kinda make this entire thing, you know, look as if it were transported from the end into the overworld, and that is the reason that you can, you know, get into the end in the first place. So that's a little lore behind this entire build. Hopefully it can make sense. And so I'm probably just going to be experimenting a little bit with this. I'm going to see where my hands takes me, and I'm going to see what we can do with the whole amethyst thing. I really want to incorporate that as well. Hello and welcome back. It's been a couple days, I'm not gonna lie. I've been out with friends doing work stuff, so I'm not gonna lie, it's been a bit quiet here on the Western Front on the Stronghold competition. But I am back, and for you it's been like 10 seconds perhaps. But no, I've come up with ideas now. After endlessly tormenting around in my own mind, I have come up with a gateway, and I finally figured out how to actually do it. We have the final product over here, but I don't really want to get into it just right now. I want to show you the process so you at home can follow along and see how it's done. What I started with is I started with 2 templates, and essentially how you can make this is you can basically just put in a cylinder, then you pick a some placeholder block, then you say how wide do I want it to be, like what radius. Perhaps if I wanted to get 7 radius, so it'll be 15 blocks wide. And then how tall do I want it? I just wanted 1, and then it's just gonna spawn right here for me. So what I did here is, just with the circle, I painted it orange at first, then blue, a smaller circle, and then yellow, and then red. And as you can see, there are a couple of holes within this circle, and that is something you can do with a brush. So if you were to get, for example, I always use wooden shovels as brushes. You would go in here, you say BR for brush, you can also just spell it out all the way if you want. Then you want to say apply, because you want to apply something to it. And then what shape do you want your brush to be in? Doesn't really matter because we're painting over a circle. So I'm just going to put a sphere. I'm going to set, and then I have my own blocks I can kind of put in. So if I want to say I want to have 70% andesite, let's just say that because it's easy, and then 30% diorite, it will then be set, as you can see, run/brush, unbind while holding the item, blah blah blah. That means it's set. So now if I were to go and mask stone, so now it doesn't affect grass or anything else, it only affects stone. You can see here that I'll get a randomized pattern where 30% is diorite and 70% is andesite. So essentially that's what I have been doing here, where some of it is air and some of it is solid blocks. So yeah, that's essentially what I've done with those, and then I stacked them on top of each other. So this one is the bottom and top layer on this one. As you can kind of see, it's the same pattern. And then we have this one, which is the middle part, so it's 3 blocks tall. And that's essentially all I've done. And then I've just flipped it up, so it was standing instead of laying, because I'm gonna apply it over there with the brush again. I just put on different shades of stained glass, and then mixed in 10% stained glass paints. I think those look really nice. They're not really bound to anything at the moment, so but when it's getting built, it's going to bind, and I think it's going to look great. So yeah, that was my thought process. So now I'm just gonna try and put them into this build, and hopefully I can make something so it will look like you come out of this main area here. So yeah, little update, and I'll be right back. Alright, and we're back with another update for y'all. What I've been up to is nothing good, obviously, but I have reinvented the gateway that was very ugly diorite. Now it's a more refined pillar, just like everything else here. So it matches a lot more now, and I'm really happy with this gateway-ish look. It doesn't have to be grandiose or anything, it's just very simple gateway can do it. So my plan is for now is to put on a little bit of detail. As you can see here, I've been going on with a little bit of the bridges. So as you can see, this was the previous bridge, and this is what I have been up to. So I'm just gonna have to finish off the inner circle and make some details around the edges of that. And then I'm gonna have to place that portal over there at the end of each gateway, so it'll look like it came out of the end. So yeah, that is currently my plan. I am also looking a little bit underneath. It doesn't really look that good, you know. Unfortunately, I think I'm gonna have to get rid of that and make some other fun color variations down here. So let's see how it turns out. Oh, so let's just see how it turns out. Behind the scenes, I kind of just finished it. So as you can see behind me, I got a few stages that we can go through. So let me just take you through the first one. How about that? The first one, as you can see, is a lot different than what we left off from. I incorporated a bit of frog lights. Another thing that I've done is I put down some buttons and I put down some candles that I lit on fire to give it more of a mystical vibe to it. And I feel like it works really great. It looks like a summoning circle almost. And I also put down some ender chests here on each corner, as I know people on Legoveld really love their items and want to take them with them to the end, or if they want to deposit stuff. So there's two opportunities for that. And the last change to the actual bridge design I did was I finished it up. It's not just prismarine now, I made it into... I don't know what it is. I think it looks pretty neat though, and you're not really going to be seeing it, so yeah, I'm kind of happy with that. Now, the next thing on the list is the portals, of course. So as you can see, I have made them what seems to be a little bigger than the last ones we looked at, and that was simply because it didn't fit. And then I just, you know, I threw them behind the gateways, so you can see here is where the people will spawn, right at this very nice amethyst wall. And then I just put some backlights on it, as you can see here. No one is ever going to see that. And then I just took the same portal from over there and threw it over here. Pretty simple as that. Now the last thing I put into the build before we get to what's in the background over there is that I made some chains. And as you can see there, I put on some banners as well, which is a light of, I think, magenta to black. So it makes this like very nice gradient. And I got a little help, not gonna lie, from Leffy, so thank you Leffy for that one. Appreciate it. Alright. Now for this last piece, as you can see, it is very, very busy. And so I just quickly want to go through what I've done. So as you can see, if we go down here, is that I have made these three different designs. Well, I haven't made this one actually. I took inspiration from Pinterest and I essentially recreated it. But I didn't just want this to be the only one, so I made a bit bigger version and I made a big version. Unfortunately, I didn't use the last one. It was too ugly. But you know, that's part of the process. You just gotta make some, and if it's ugly, and you just delete it and start over. So I settled on these two, and I scattered them very differently throughout this build. And yeah, as you can see, I used end rods for the build, so it emits light, as well as the amethyst clusters, which I, for one, didn't know that it emits light. Apparently, it's a light source. So this build is very nicely lit up now, both from the outside and on the build and within the build, which is very important. We want to make sure that no mobs can spawn here, because what we're going to do next, as you can see down here, there are some sea lanterns that indicate a certain area. So I'm going to go down here and I'm going to mark this area and mark this area. And then what we do here is that we do walls, black concrete. Boom. And what that will do is that will encase our build with some big walls out of black concrete, of course. And then I'm going to set, and again, black concrete. So now we got a roof over our head. So here we go. Now we got a big dark build. And as you can see, the colors are popping off. They are very light. It's giving very mystical vibe. It was exactly the feeling I was going for. And as well as you can see with the candlelight, is adding some warm color to the build, which I really enjoy. Again, giving this mystical, maybe even satanic vibe if I'm not really mistaken, but we ignore that. And then it leads all down to this very beautiful portal. So yeah, this is my first submission. I don't know if I'm going to do a second one. I probably am, but that is not going to be filmed. And so what I think I'm going to do now is I think I'm just going to go around and check other plots out. So yeah, let's just go around and see what people have submitted. I thought that I was going to have an easy time, but there is competition here. I am not going to lie. I do not think I'm going to win this. There are some amazing builders on Lekkerveld, and I really gotta say that they have been coming through with this one. So I'm just going to go through my top 3, at least, in what I've seen. They are all amazing. Of course, there are some more questionable than others. For example, that black box over there is it's Rutzel's submission, and yeah, I can just show you real quick. And yeah, I mean it's functional. It's got the end portal, but I do not think it's going to be getting my vote. I am so sorry, Rutzel. Now for my first pick, and keep in mind this is not in any particular order. This is just my top 3 that I found really fascinating and unique. And on this list is Punk's submission. They have been getting on and they have been building. And I gotta admit, it has turned out insanely lovely. Going around looking, you see this dragon, you see this giant pillar with the end portal on, and this little swinging bridge connecting it with a pier going out from the spawn area where you can just run over, jump directly into the end portal. I mean, it is magnifique. Now my second pick for my top 3 are definitely Jolien's build. I mean, come on. I think everyone who has gone through here and just looked up at the ceiling is mesmerized by the mere talent right here. Like, this is gradient work at its finest. I am not going to lie. I could never do this, so I am very impressed by all of this. It really reminds me of Subnautica with these like triangles where you're probably going to come out of one of these portals, but it's such a cool design. Really, you know, simplistic while still being extravagant. So very great job on that, Jolien. I am so happy on your behalf for finishing this. Now for my last pick, and I may be a little bit biased, but this is Leffy's build, and I have been helping him a little bit out with the copy pasting every now and then, so I got a really good look at all of the, you know, all of the details while I was here. I have been here a couple of times, you can say, and this build is also pretty wild. It's a lot of ideas smashed into one. So you spawn here, and the first thing you're met with is just these giant archways in different graded colors, and I love gradients. So I'm very impressed by these archways to begin with. Then we also got this giant Enderman for some reason. I mean, he's cool, you don't really notice him until you're like, wait, what the fuck? Enderman. And then you're met with the skull of a dragon where the end portal resides within, and also just this lake-ish. This man got so many ideas, I have no idea how to follow any of it. This giant lake of purple it's a really cool addition, and then if you look up as well, you see all of these spacey windows of glass panes. It's behind every last glass pane. If this gets picked, we are going to have a lot of work to do, I'm not going to lie. I have been on here almost every day, and I've seen Leffy on here every day building this submission, so he has put in the work, he has put in the hours, and I gotta admit, it really paid out for him. I think this is an amazing design. So, from all these great submissions, these were my top 3 that I got. Not in any particular order, I just really like them all. And I gotta say, I'm really impressed by the amount of submission that this content got. I think we have like 13 or so. And yeah, I guess this is farewell for now. I don't have anything more. Now we can just wait and see who wins the competition so I can put this out. So hit the like button right now, hit the subscribe button. I am not going to be posting anytime soon, but when I do, you will get a notification from me. Don't worry, guys. And I hope you learned something from this video. If you didn't, then that's totally fair. I have realized halfway through editing this that I make no sense. And I give absolutely no tips whatsoever by just giving updates. So this whole video was very useless to anyone besides me. But still, I hope you found this video very entertaining. And if you did, then good for me, I guess. I did a good job. So, as we say in Danish, I will see you. Farvel!